Hey there, I'm Stephen Brown with GamePoints, and I'm here to bring you my opinions on the first 5 hours of Shadow of War. This is kind of not really a review, but more of a review of this slice of the game, the first 5 hours I've gotten into it. I'm not going to add any score or anything like that. I'm just going to kind of give my thoughts and opinions on what I've played so far, how it lines up with what other people are saying online, what I've experienced so far. Once again, keep in mind, this is only me being 5 hours into the game itself. I'm hoping to do another video, another 5 hours in, another 5 hours out after that. So 5, 10, 15, 20. You see the pattern here all the way till the end, in which case I will give a final idea of what I felt about it. So in the first 5 hours, I'm still in the first zone. I haven't left to other areas of the map. I'm still in Minas Idril, I believe the place is called. And the game is solid. It does expand a lot on what was in Shadow of Mordor. A lot more moves, a lot more of a skill set available. Everything looks prettier. Everything flows a lot better. The Nemesis system is still amazing. If anything, the orcs actually have a lot more personality than they used to. They all stand out a little bit more. If you played Shadow of Mordor a lot, you would start kind of seeing the same orc archetype over and over and over again. Here, I have yet to run into one that even reminded me of another. They're all very unique. They're all pretty, I don't want to say memorable, because you only encounter them once before you kill them, unless they either escape, in which case they come back even more jacked up, remember who you are, or they kill you. Either way, I don't see that happen too often, but it is there. This guy, for example, right here that I'm about to go after was a legendary, epic orc. And I'm sending a death threat off to him to kind of taunt him. I'm going to try to kill him as this video goes on. But yeah, if you're a fan of the Nemesis system, be pleased to know it's in here still and expanded on even more, in my opinion. One thing I noticed so far in my first 5 hours of this game is that it's a lot easier to die than it was in Shadow of Mordor. That's not to say the AI is improved. In fact, you'll see through here, I'm running behind orcs at almost full gallop and they don't even hear me. I can run up to them face forward and still stealth kill them because they're slow to react. It's not that the AI has improved at all. It's just stuff hits really goddamn hard. And I think that's because of the way the leveling system in this works. It's far more role-playing focused than the first one was. It still has a lot of the same elements where you're earning skill points, but you have a bunch of equipment you can swap out now too that increases your overall power. And if you go into an area you're a little bit underpowered for, stuff is just going to murder you. I remember right when I first started, I kind of took on I want to say it was a boss that was around level 15, and I was maybe 2, and that thing killed me in 2 hits. So it's an artificial difficulty. It's difficulty based on gear, not on skill. And let's just leave it at that. We'll see if that changes as it goes on. Other weird particulars I've noticed. When you climb, you can kind of parkour up over everything. If you played the first one or you played in the Assassin's Creeds, you have an idea of what I'm talking about here. Everything is kind of climbable. You kind of just leap and bound up it. Everything seems to lean to the right. So, let me try to give you an example. If I'm climbing up a giant tower to get where I need to go, and I'm taking the handholds and hopping up this length of building, if you come to a point where you have 2 options to jump up, left or right, and you choose to just hit up and jump, the game seems to shift you to the right one every single time. As such, if you're just scaling a building, it feels like you're moving at a diagonal action. Flip your viewpoint, but it feels like you're moving upwards to the right as you climb. It's a tad weird. It's not what I don't think I've ever seen it in a game like this before, where it just has this rightward drift. And it could just be me, but that is something I did notice, so keep that in mind if you're playing around with it. And if you happen to notice it yourself, let me know down in the comments below. Let's talk about microtransactions. So far, 5 hours into it, I haven't seen anything that's required me to get a single one yet. If you go to your start menu, they are advertised in the bottom part of the screen over to the left. Various, hey, sales, buy this orc, buy this chest, buy this much gold for this much price. It is everywhere in the menu system. I haven't needed to even purchase a chest yet. They gave me one out the gate, probably as a promotional thing, and I earned one in the course of the game. The first chest had 4 legendary orcs in it. Those are the purple ones. And the second one had 1 legendary orc in it. Keep in mind, those are likely fixed rates designed to get you to buy more, thinking that's what every chest is going to be. I haven't done the research on it, though, so don't take my word on that. Are they intrusive? In the game itself, not yet. Once again, only 5 hours into it. In the menu system, that shit is persuasive everywhere. The moment you log on, you pause the game to get into the menu to go through your maps or your items, that fucking marketplace is right there with half of the screen devoted to, or I should say a quarter of the screen devoted to that bullshit. We'll see if it gets worse later on, but right now I haven't even needed to think about it. But it's definitely there, and you're definitely going to be tempted to buy it every time you go into your menus. One more thing I want to touch on before I wrap up here. I had this weird issue when I first launched the game. I run a dual monitor support when I play video games. And the game launched in my second monitor, and there's no way to bring it over to my main monitor through the options. That was frustrating because it's not something I'm used to having to deal with, and I actually forgot what the key command was to just easily pop that over. If you run into that issue, it is press the Windows key, Shift, and right or left arrow, and it'll switch it right over. But I had to go through an interesting workaround before I remembered that handy shortcut. So if you happen to run into that issue, keep that in mind. As far as tech problems, I haven't had any. I know Warner Brothers games tend to have really shitty PC ports. This seems to be pretty fucking stable, that one issue aside. I've been playing at 1440 at over 60 frames a second. I think I've been averaging 70 to 80, somewhere in that range. So it definitely seems to be a solid port if you're worried about that. Anyways, I'm going to wrap things up here. This is just my thoughts and ideas on the first 5 hours into Shadow of War. I will return after I get about 10 hours under the belt. Until then, my name's Stephen Brown. I am with GamePoints. Please check out our podcast every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at twitch.tv/GamePoints. Bring in whatever comments, questions, or concerns you might have. If you like this, follow, comment, like, dislike. If you have criticism, put it on there too. I at least look at it all. Until then, I'm out of here.